negative.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Beautiful people out there in social media and YouTube land. How are you this evening? I want to welcome you to the Black Soul Well podcast, where our mission is to lead the culture to mental and emotional health through faith and education. Today is Tuesday, February the 8th, 2022, y'all. We are already in February. Look, we were just in 2020. And then 2021 was crazy. Now we're in 2022. I hope you are knocking your goals out. I hope that you are learning from this, that time waits for no one. You know, the older I get, and I'm not an old man, but the older I become, I realize how precious time is. Yo, we are already in the second month of 2022. Hope you are knocking your goals out. Hope that you have some goals. If not, jot some things down. Start small and work towards larger ones. Hey, look, this is episode 14. I want to thank you for everybody that patronizes our show. If you are watching, I'm going to ask you, if you're watching us on Facebook, go ahead and share the broadcast. Also, like our public page, the Black Soul Well podcast. We're also on IG. If you're watching via YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to our page. We have a lot of good information for you, and we're going to grow. Hey, look, I have a question for you. Have you told anybody about the Black Soul Well podcast, where our mission is to lead the culture to mental and emotional health through faith and education? If not, let somebody know. I know that there are a lot of great tools out there for your mental health, for your emotional health. We're just trying to do our part, and we got something for you. Got a couple of details for you. You can visit us online at theblacksoulwell.com. I'm sorry, not theblacksoulwell.com, but just blacksoulwell.com. You can find out more about our mission. You can get on our email list. Also, if you have any questions, you can shoot them to blacksoulwell@gmail.com. Once again, I want to invite you to connect with us on our social media platforms. Black Soul Well podcast. We're on Facebook, we're on IG, and we're also on YouTube. And look, I'm going to let my help know we have the wrong email address up there. If we could throw up the Black Soul Well at Gmail email address, that'll be cool. Connect with us on our social media platforms. And I also want to invite you to pick up some of our merch. We have merchandise. We have t-shirts, we have bags, and we have hats. You can find that merchandise at blacksoulwell.bigcartel.com. All right? You can do that there. Look, the mental health tip of the week. Got the mental health tip of the week for you. It comes from Silence the Shame. You can find Silence the Shame on IG at Silence the Shame. They also have a website, silencetheshame.com. It's an organization that is dedicated to helping people to be mentally and emotionally well. I want to read something for you. It says, Black Americans sometimes experience more severe forms of mental health conditions due to various factors. According to the Health and Human Services Office of Minority Health, Black Americans are 20% more likely to experience serious mental health problems than the general population. According to the ADAA, Black youth who are exposed to violence are at a greater risk for PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder by over 25.2%. Black Americans are also more likely to be exposed to the factors that increase the risk for developing a mental health condition. And so what does that mean? The reason that I'm sharing that with you is because we all should be proactive about developing sound mental and emotional health. But if you are African American, and if you are from the hood, like me, like so many of us, but that's changing. Look at somebody say that's changing. We are definitely changing the economic status of our families. Thank God for that. But my generation, a lot of us who are laying the foundation for the future generations of people of color, for our sons, our daughters, and etc., those who we're caring for, we come out of those broken places. And if that's you, I want to really encourage you to be intentional about this area of your life, to be intentional about developing and cultivating your mental and your emotional health. Listen to this. Don't just get the bag, but get healed. Don't just get the bag, but get healed. Hey, look, if you're out there and you can help me make some t-shirts, I want you to reach out to me. I have this dope idea for a t-shirt. And the t-shirt says this: my soul is gold. My soul's gold. You understand what I'm saying? My soul is gold. Now, I know some of you Gen Zers and you millennials, y'all might say, man, that's corny. You're an old dude. I don't care. I think it's dope. So if you have skills making a t-shirt, I want you to reach out to me. I want to make that t-shirt. My soul's gold, which means that, I am trying to obtain gold, the physical rock or whatever you want to call it. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't just get the bag. Get healed, because we come from a lot of things. My own personal experience, I've shared it a couple of times on my social media platforms. Born and raised in the hood at a very early age, got into a lot of fights, a lot of trouble, knives, guns pulled on me, knives, fighting, got kicked out of school. My younger brother got murdered in the street, shot down. I mean, we were really going down a bad path. But by the grace of God, he was able to, I was able to hear his voice and turn some things around. But I didn't realize later on in life how of the PTSD that I had experienced because of some of that stuff that I had went through. And for years, I have been seeing a therapist, not just because of that, but through military, being a veteran, a disabled veteran, and getting hurt in the service. I've experienced some things, but the reason I shared all that is to bring up this point. Therapy is good. It's cool. It's cool to sit down and talk with somebody about where you are, to get some of that frustration out, and to have someone that's skilled, trained, educated, perhaps, that can help you to unlock some of that things or some of those things, or help you to understand why you are feeling the way that you are. I didn't realize that I needed to get some therapy. I thought when I gave my life to the Lord as a young man, I'm saved, I'm delivered now, I'm following the Lord now, everything is going to be cool. But as I walked longer, and God blessed me to have some good friends and people that were smart enough to say, hey, look, man, go sit down and talk with somebody. And I am a testimony that it works. So here's a few tips. If you're African American, if whoever you are, but I especially want to talk to the Black folk, all right? Here's some tips. Learn to say no. If you want to cultivate your mental and emotional health in 2022, learn to say no. Learn to say no. Don't spread yourself too thin, because when we do, we open the door for too much stress, which can lead us down unhealthy pathways. Here's another thing. I just harped on this. Get professional therapy. There's nothing wrong with getting help. I heard a powerful saying years ago that always stuck with me. It said, a millionaire who has no peace is still broke. Isn't that powerful? A millionaire who has no peace is still broke. I.e., my saying, don't just get the bag, but get healed. Or don't just secure the bag, secure your peace. So there's nothing wrong with getting therapy. There are so many avenues for therapy. You don't just have to go in and speak with somebody face to face. You can actually do virtual therapy online. You can actually text someone. I had an individual that was telling me about a service where she texts someone and they go back and forth. I mean, there's so many options. There's no excuse. Get your healing. All right. Then it's the last one. Remove toxic sources. You got to remove toxic sources from your life. People, places, and things that are toxic, that keep you in the dark or drag you to those dark places, look, if you want to grow, you got to let them go. All right. And so it's like I was explaining to someone a few days ago. I don't believe in cutting people off. Sometimes we do have to cut people off. That sounds so harsh. But I do believe this. I do believe in this. Sometimes we have to cut people out, which means that I have to take them out of my life for a season. I have to pull back from them a little bit or maybe a lot, whatever the case is. And if somebody is toxic, you're trying to get healthy, you're trying to do some things for your children, for your family, for yourself. And then there's someone that's always bringing you down. They're taking you to that dark place. They're not a good influence for you, and etc. Hey, you have to only you can do the work to shut them down. And sometimes it's as simple as a conversation. Hey, look, it's never easy. It's never easy when you have to have those conversations, but you have to care about yourself enough. Hey, look, yo, dog, you my man. We've been rocking and rolling, yo, for a minute. And you know what I'm saying? I will always be there for you, dog, if I have to. You know, we ride or die. But right now, I'm going in this direction, dog. I am walking in this direction. I'm on something new, okay? And if you're gonna bring all that rah-rah around, then I gotta fall back a little bit. Now, a true friend will be like, all right, I can dig it. They'll dap you up. They'll keep in touch and etc. They'll understand that. If somebody just goes off on you because you're trying to be better, I don't know if that's truly your friend or not. All right. But anyway, take those tips, use them how you may, and I hope that they bring some joy and peace to your life. All right. Tonight's topic. We're going to jump into tonight's topic. February's theme. We're in Black History Month. And tonight's show is dedicated to the Black church. I know that some people don't like to use that term. I've had people say, oh, there is no such thing as the Black church. We're all God's church. Yeah, I know. So for those of you all out there that say that, I'll say this. The Black room of the church. How about that? All right. Or the Black section of the church. But tonight we're talking about the Black church and its role in helping its surrounding community to be spiritually, mentally, and emotionally whole. And for this discussion, I've asked fellow pastor and friend, Pastor Khalil Rogers, to join us. And so he's going to come up on the screen right now. I want you to welcome him to the Black Soul Well podcast. And as he comes up, I'm going to share a little bio about Pastor Khalil. First, Pastor Rogers was born and raised in Philadelphia, PA. Eagles stand up. You know what I'm saying? Sixers stand up.
Absolutely.
You know? And has been married to Tamika Rogers since 2003. Together, they share 2 children. I hope I say this right. Talia and Khalil Jr. He's a graduate of Eastern University, where he graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Business Management and later a Master's in Business Administration from the same university. He's currently enrolled at the Missio Seminary in Philadelphia, where he is working on completing the Pulpit Program, which stands for Program for Urban Leaders and Pastors in Transition. Pastor Khalil is a graduate of the Clergy Development Institute, now called ADI, located at the Bible Way Baptist Church. He received his license to preach the gospel on April 23rd, 2008, and was ordained on June 29, 2014 at the Bible Way Baptist Church under the leadership of Dr. Damon B. Jones Sr. Pastor Khalil is a member of the Brotherhood. Hood stands for Helping Others Overcome Defeat Foundation. The Brotherhood Foundation is a nonprofit organization committed to mending at-risk males, MEND, which stands for Male Encouragement, Navigation, and Development, at-risk males, including currently incarcerated youthful offenders between the ages of 14 and 25 years old in the Philadelphia area. And since February of 2018, Pastor Khalil, in February 2018, he was selected senior pastor of the Peniel Baptist Church in Philly. And on September 30th, 2018, he was installed as the 3rd pastor. What a distinction, what an honor, in the church's 87-year history. And so my friend, Pastor Khalil Rogers is here. Before he jumps on, I just want to say this about the brother. So you know how this Facebook thing works. I'm Facebook friends with Pastor Khalil, and I think we first got connected because we're both involved or members of, or have some dealings with some urban apologetics groups on Facebook. And so I would see some of his posts and different things like that. And I really began to admire the brother, man. I was like, wow, this dude is doing it. He's sharing some good knowledge. He's knowledgeable. I've seen him debate, if you will, with other people that don't hold to Christian values and Christian doctrine. I've seen him share knowledge. I've seen him not just from the Bible, but other books and different things that he was sharing. I was like, wow, that's what's up, man. That brother's doing his thing. The first thing that I recognized about him was the name Khalil, because we named our last child and my second son Khalil. And so I don't know anybody else with that name. And so when I saw Khalil on Facebook, I was like, oh, finally, I see somebody else with the name Khalil Rogers. And then the brother has an affinity. I don't know if I'll say affinity, but I will say it for guns and weapons like me. And so we've talked about guns via Facebook before and etc. And so I'm just so glad to finally get an opportunity to go deeper than just the Facebook thing, which is cool, and have him on the show. Pastor Khalil, thank you for being on the show, my brother. How you doing?
Man, thank you for having me, brother. I'm blessed, man. As I told you before, I'm just staying out the way, staying out of traffic, doing the best I can, man, to grind for God, man. I'm just elated that you would even think of me to even be on your broadcast, man. Definitely appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for coming up here, bro. Like I said, I see the work that you're doing in the community where you're from, and I see your character and how you show your wife and your children on Facebook. I think that's all dope, bro. I mean, those are the marks of a godly man. I actually know some brothers that are married, and you go through their Facebook, and I know some of them don't hear this and probably get mad at me, but they don't have nothing. You don't know they married, you don't know they got kids or anything. And look, if that's you do your thing. You do your thing. But I always respect and honor those men who are not ashamed to say, this is what God has given me, and I'm a family man. So I respect that, bro.
Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate it. Likewise, man. Listen, it's that to me, and not defend or cast aspersions on any other brothers that may not, but I think you setting yourself up, that's kind of dangerous, man. Like you gotta definitely, put that out there, because if not, I mean, you already know how it go, man. So, I can't get dressed in the morning without my wife, so definitely.
Word.
Know that I found a good thing.
Yes, sir. Word up. Well, look, man. Why don't you take a little time, man? And I know I shared a lot from your bio, or some tidbits from your bio. But can you take a little bit and just talk a little bit about your career in ministry and some of the things that you're doing there in Philly? Can you take a few minutes and talk about some of that stuff?
Yeah, sure. So, obviously, so I pastor in North Philly. North Philly right now is, it's just being gentrified like crazy. The community. Now I'm from West Philly, but that particular section of the city, it does not look the same as it did when I was growing up. Many of the faces, people have been displaced and dislocated. You know how it is. It's the same way with every major city across this country. You look at where the black neighborhoods used to be, and and so where my church is, it's kind of like it's gentrified, but it ain't, right? So like on one side, you got my brothers and sisters at a lighter skin persuasion,
sure,
and they dogs and they dog parks. And then right there on the outside of Rich Avenue, you got the brothers shooting dice. And it's click clack city, get down, lay down. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just weird. you know. But I try to, and I haven't mastered this, brother, and I don't think I ever will. I don't think any of us will. One of the things that I believe in, I do believe in incarnational ministry. I study Christ ministry. That's what it was, right? Jesus coming to the neighborhood, God coming to the neighborhood, to the hood. The actual brotherhood. I'm rocking the shirt for the foundation that I'm a part of. Brothers, brother stands for brothers or Christ-like brothers, relying on the anointing for success, and hood stands for helping others overcome defeat. And so we believe in being incarnational, right? So wherever the ministry is, that's where we are. And so, I've always had a passion for young Black men, and particularly young Black men who are in trouble. Because I once was a young Black man in trouble. I heard you sharing a little bit of your testimony. A lot of similarities in that, bro. A lot of similarities. Only, you, unfortunately, it was your brother. For me, it was my cousins, right? And that's actually how I got saved at my cousin's funeral. 16 years old, he was gunned down in the street. When he actually started to change his life around, right? So me and him was kind of doing a lot of the same stuff. He gets deaded. And I grew up in the church, but just never, you know how it is. You go to church, but church is never really in you.
Yes, sir.
Right after Sunday, my mom sending me to church with my grandma. Right after church, I was on the block, man. I was on the block. I was scrambling, pitching, hustling, doing all that. Just running the streets reckless, right? Getting all kinds of stuff. When my cousin got killed, a light came on, right? I get saved at my cousin's funeral. But I still wasn't really, how you save, but you're not really delivered from everything.
Yes, sir.
Still, even though it was some things I, put aside, I still kind of had one foot in and one foot out the street. But my pastor, reached in and kind of mentored me, took me under his wing, and basically took me in as a son. Went to school, went to college, everything, and started, doing my thing. Another cousin of mine gets killed. My cousin Tahir, and he got killed almost 2 months after he got saved. He was Muslim. Many people in my family are Muslim. That's how I got the name Khalil. My pops, whole side of the family, they all NOI, Nation of Islam. You feel what I'm saying? Which allows me to, do a little bit of that. I wouldn't call myself an apologist, even though we all are, but it allows me to do a little bit of that because I know that window. I know that doctrine. I understand it. So, when my cousin got killed, my cousin Tahir, that's when I knew that I was called to do something. I didn't know what it was, but something that had to do with young Black men in trouble.
Yeah, man.
And so, I just started doing the work, and out of doing the work, this calling to preach the gospel was kind of birthed out of that, even though I never really saw myself as a preacher. Right. I wasn't the dude that, I used to come to church in a Dickie set. I used to have long braids, cornrows. I was back, Dickie set, Timberland boots.
Yes,
man, I ain't wearing no suit. I ain't doing none of that. That's how I was, right? And even as a deacon, I was like that. So that kind of got me into doing what it is I do now, which is pretty much not just pastoring, but also being a big brother, mentor to young brothers in trouble. Many of the brothers are incarcerated. Right now, we deal with the juvenile population in the city of Philadelphia who are housed in adult prisons. So in Philadelphia County, if you are charged as an adult, you go to adult jail. You don't go to juvie. So you're in a segregated unit on 6th Road. And so right now we got about 14 to 20 boys boys, all under the age in between the ages of 13 and 17, up there charged for, I got kids up there that's charged with 4 homicides, carjackings, kidnappings, you name it. And these is kids.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much my heart, man. Like it's kind of weird in a way, but I kind of get life from it. I can't really explain it. Like, you know how it is being a pastor, man, how ministry can be very draining.
Yeah, man.
It can empty you. But when I go to the jail, man, when I go to the prison and I just talk to some of them guys, man, I come to life. We go up there, we play ball with them, we build with them, and basically just trying to get them to find their purpose, man. Because the reason why you're up here,
yeah, man,
is because you had no idea what God put you here for. So you got caught up in all kinds of dumb stuff, and now you find yourself incarcerated.
Right.
Now you're a child, right? But society is saying, no, you ain't a child, you're really a man, and we're gonna treat you like a criminal. So you can imagine what that does to a 14, 15-year-old who's sitting up there facing 4 homicide charges. So those are the kind of kids that I work with, that I deal with. And by the grace of God, some of them do beat it. Some of them come home. A couple of them that I've been up there with, they came home. I'm working with one right now, mentoring him. He actually joined my church. I gave his life to Christ, joined the church, and I'm trying to get him. He's still caught up in life, still want to gang bang, and trying to bring him out of it. So that's pretty much the work that I do for the most part. Some other stuff, but that's kind of like the meat and potatoes of it right there.
That's awesome, brother. Man, you said a mouthful, bro. And one of the things as you were speaking that stuck out to me was just how I think about myself and how long it took me for the light bulb to come on. And I thought about like what you were saying, like sometimes, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. We don't all, it doesn't always happen overnight, right? Like you can see, and I'm sure like with some of these kids, and I don't work with kids now. I know that when my wife and I lived in VA, when I was in the military, we were part of a ministry there, and I was actually the director for the outreach ministry in the inner city of Norfolk, Virginia, which has a whole bunch of projects. And we used to go into projects and have cookouts and basketball tournaments and everything. And I can remember building relationships with some of these kids. And, you would see a flicker of light and you're like, yeah, so-and-so is going to be all right. And then it's like the next week he got arrested or, he got locked up or he headed upstate or whatever the case is. And it made me think about, sometimes I would get discouraged about that, but it made me think about this, and it reminds me of this very sobering saying, like, you're not going to save them all, but you don't know what seeds you might plant. You know what I'm saying? That'll come to fruition later. What do you think about that? Or could you share some thoughts on that?
Man, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, what you just said, you describing my life. And it's real because my young boy that I'm, working with now, he called me same situation, he's now this particular kid has been shot on been in 3 different shootouts and been shot on 3 separate occasions. And he's still here. And I'm like, man, God got a purpose for you. And I talked to him every day. It's like you was a soldier, so you in the military. So I kind of work with him like that in a sense, like, yo, I need to hear from you every day. If I don't, you AWOL, and I'm coming over, right? And so I hadn't heard from him, and I'm like, yo, what's up? He got jammed up, caught another gun case, right? And so he's out now, and I'm, trying to help him, just kind of piece stuff together, man. Like,
yeah, man.
Like you said, it's almost like 2 sides to the coin. Like on the one end, like you think of substance abuse, right?
Right.
A lot of people that have been through substance abuse, whether it's drug addiction, alcohol, whatever it may be. Relapse is a part of that recovery, right? And so just because somebody got jammed up again, you dealing with a young person or somebody in the street or whatever. And I'm gonna tell you what my young boys tell me, the ones that's out there. When I meet them in the jail, I got their attention. When they on the street, they scrambling. I asked my young boy, I said, why is it that it takes for y'all to get locked up for y'all to listen, but when y'all come out, y'all don't? Because we're not in survival mode no more. On the street, we surviving. You know, I got ops out here. I got to keep my head on the swivel. I got to keep moving. I got to get this bread. I'm chasing a chicken. I'm about to bag, whatever.
Yeah, man.
But when you get locked up, you know, hey, so now they willing to listen to anything. And so you can, so he said to me, it's almost better when we get sent up. So, and to be honest with you, I don't know about you, but I'm sure you've heard many stories like this. You get that call in the middle of the night that a family member or a loved one got locked up, and you like, thank God, because as wild as they were, it was only a matter of time before the grave got them. So yes, I'm glad that they got sent upstate. Well, at least I know they safe and they can get their mind right. You know what I mean? So I guess what I'm saying, I'm answering in a long way. As you said, you never know what seeds are really being planted.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes it takes for them to get into a situation where they're kind of like confined. That seed can kind of germinate and grow. And whether it's a prison cell, whether it's doing a 23-and-1 upstate, yes, whatever sir. It may be to sit you down in a hospital bed, whatever it may be, God is not limited to allowing it to happen until you get it. And you can't save all of them. You definitely can't save all of them. And, you know, we can drive ourselves crazy, you know, trying to do that. And it does get discouraging. You know, I leave that jail. Every time I leave, I'm in tears because I feel like, dag, I didn't get through to this kid. I didn't get through to that kid. Or, you know, that kid is just a lot. Some of them, you as sad at 15, 16 years old, you know how you said the light go out? Yeah, you can already see like they gone. Yeah, like at 16.
Yeah, man.
They ain't even begin to live yet. And it's like, yo, there's nothing that I can say to this kid that's going to change how he think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One young boy up there was that I dealt with was up there for attempted homicide on one of his homies. And his homie ratted on him. That's how he got jammed up. And I said, so if you get out, what are you going to do? And he said, I'm going to finish what I started. And you see the mentality?
Yeah,
you talk about mental health. And I'm glad that you highlight this, man, because that's something that is never talked about when it comes to all of this crime that we have in our urban centers, primarily in the Black community, Black and brown communities. Everybody talk about violence, gangs. Y'all don't think mental health got something to do with that? A white kid shoot up a school. Everybody say mental health.
Oh, yeah.
But Black kids gangbanging or like, you know what I'm saying, getting to a beat. Don't nobody mention mental health? None? Nobody? It don't exist for us, huh?
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, bro. Oh man. you about to take the conversation somewhere.
It's right. I mean, it's
come on.
It's real. Nobody ever says that. Like, yo, this kid needs treatment. Right? And I'm not giving a pass for you because I done been on both sides of it. You know, I've buried loved ones from the street. And I know cats. I've mentor cats who've put other cats in the ground.
Right.
So I've seen both sides of that coin.
Right.
So I'm not making an excuse for a person causing harm to another person.
Right.
Who has created in the Imago Dei. We understand that. Right. Yeah. But let's not just gloss over it like there is just some pathology in the Black community that is exclusive to us. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that because what I've seen, and this is just me, and I'll shut up with this point. And I'm going to say this. And if you get blamed for it, they can blame me because I said
it. It's all right, bro.
America is raging.
Mm. Mm.
It's just two sides to it.
Yes, sir.
Black rage, we rage, we go at each other.
Yeah.
White folk in rage, they attack institutions. Schools, January 6th, the Capitol, right? It's the same thing. Both groups are raging. They just express their rage differently.
Yeah, man.
They just express it differently. You may go shoot up a school, and this dude go shoot up his block. What's the difference? What's the difference?
Right.
We all need Jesus.
Yes, sir. Say that, brother. Say that, man. Yes, sir. Man, such a huge conversation, man. You know, one of the reasons that I talk about mental health so much is because, you know, I've shared this on this platform before, and I've shared it, you know, on social media before. But, you know, as a kid, I struggled with my mental health, in the area of my mental health. And I remember my grandmother, I was telling my grandmother, I used to struggle with a lot of anger issues. I got into a lot of fights in school, and it's not because I just had the best hands, you know, because I had my hand skills improved because I was using them so much. You know, I can remember, man, I tell my kids stories sometimes about, you know, just getting into fights in school. And here's why. I've thought about this over the years. You know, I was one of those kids in the ghetto, in the hood, that I was a nice guy. I was cool. I wanted to be cool with everybody, you know. I wasn't a bully. You know, I was alright at basketball, but I wasn't the best at basketball. I could rhyme. You know, I used to rhyme. You know, everybody from New York want to rap. So
everybody in New York can rhyme.
Everybody got rap there. Yo, I was in groups. I was in this group, you know, and you know, whatever that meant. Like we were signed. I remember me and a homeboy of mine were trying to get signed. But I was this kid that I was cool with cats. And when I went to high school, actually, when I went to middle school, junior high, the crew that ran my neighborhood, I started, you know, hanging more and more with those cats. And it was like, you know how at first I didn't get jumped into the gang. It was just because I was with my boys and we all catching the bus downtown. Then after school, you know, we skipping school and doing stuff. So you just by default. And then when I was 14, I actually got put on, you know, as they say, jumped off the porch. And I was never a hardened criminal type dude. I was a follower.
Yep.
I was a big follower. So I was that cat that, you know, I'm going up and starting a fight to try to please the alpha male in the group. You know what I'm saying? I was the dude that was doing all this little stupid stuff. But on the inside, I was really a cool guy. I would go to school and I'd be cool with the white dudes, the headbangers, the nerds. You know what I'm saying? I was cool with all of them. Like, yo, what up, Kirby? What up, dude? So you good? You know, and all that. But then it's like you switch and turn into a different person. And so I just had all this contradiction on the inside. And I remember one time I had broke down in school real bad, like shaking like I wanted to kill somebody. And my grandmother took me to a psychiatrist. I started telling my grandmother, I was like, yo, I'm going to off myself. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to go in the basement and off myself and everything. And she was like, yo, I got to get the little homie some help. So she took me to a psychiatrist. And I remember they helped me to get through some things and praise God for that, you know. And we weren't even a Christian household. I mean, at the time, my grandmother, you know, they believed in God, but we didn't go to church or anything. But she was a strong Black woman, and her and my grandfather and whatnot. And so I was able to kind of come through some things and hold it together. And then when I became a young man and I met Christ, you know what I'm saying? He pulled me in and I surrendered to him and gave him my life. Then I started to, you know, learn and fall in love with him and cast off the sin that so easily besets and entraps us, which was, you know, fueling a lot of the dumb stuff that I was getting caught up in. But I said all that because I want to lead into this next question. You know, when I came into the church and I was still struggling with some things mentally and emotionally, it seemed like the only answer was just fast and pray.
Yep.
Like, oh, let them lay hands on you and then cast that demon out. So then when I'm still struggling with depression, when I'm still having certain things going on, I'm thinking, oh, well, am I really saved? You know, is God love me? Maybe I'm just one of the crazy ones that's just going to barely make it in or whatever. And it wasn't until years later that I really I read a book titled The Emotionally Healthy Church it's a pastor in Queens, Peter Scazzaro. And that book revolutionized my understanding of spirituality and emotional maturity, and how you can be saved, love God, super committed, the Lord loves you, but you just got some funky stuff, dog, going on the inside that you got to work through. And my question is this, bro. What can the Black church do to help members not just be spiritually well? Like we know how to preach, as I've heard before, preach them happy. You know, we know how to preach people happy, and we need that, bro, for the stuff that we go through. But what can we do, Pastor Rogers, like to be more intentional to make sure that the emotional and mental part is covered as well?
Absolutely, that's a great question, bro. I think one of the main things that we have to do is invest in people who have felt exiled, who have that gift of soul care. What I mean by that is this. A lot like you know, when I got saved, growing up in church or whatever, but when I started taking it seriously, when I started taking, my walk seriously, and my pastor's very educated dude, right? However, some people in the church I grew up in, great church, let them folk there. There was a lot of that, and sometimes you can get well, what am I gifted at? Oh, well, you either called to preach, called to teach, exhortation, lead worship. You're gonna be a deacon. Okay, well, I don't feel called to any of that. What if I want to go to school for psychology? What if I'm called to the sciences?
Yeah,
right. What if I'm called to the secular world?
Yeah,
we have to find a way. Some of those people feel exiled, and we have to find a way to tap into that talent, gift, whatever you want to call it. Because the truth be told, many pastors are not equipped in soul care.
Yeah,
we go to seminary, we get trained in how to break a text down. We get trained in hermeneutics and homiletics. We can throw Greek around and Hebrew and all that. But you pastoring in Charlotte, you pastoring Black folk down there. I'm pastoring Black folk in North Philly. What is me breaking down the book of Romans or breaking a passage down of the book of Romans in Greek going to do for somebody who had depression, chronic depression?
Yeah, man.
So we have to invest in that, tangibly invest in people who are trained in soul care. We have to create, just like we create ministries and events for everything else. Financial workshop seminars. We got VBS, we got Bible study, we got Sunday school, we got all kinds of ministries, right? And all that's well and good. We need ministries designed in soul care. People who are trained, right? Now I'll tell you, as a pastor, this is something that I believe in. I don't believe in speaking as an authority in things that I'm not a subject matter expert in.
Sure.
Therefore, my training is in business, so I can talk to you about money, and we can talk theology. That's what my formal training is in. I have no formal training in soul care. Now I can give you some biblical counseling, like biblical and spiritual advice, but I can't. I'm not a therapist.
Yeah.
So some folk, listen, I'm going to refer you out.
Yeah.
I know some thorough Black Christian therapists. I'm friends with about 3 or 4 of them, and I keep their number on speed. That I refer people to them. Not just marriage and family stuff, even people who have some deep seated depression, like you said, folk who, you know, I want to commit suicide and I got a plan for it, and this is how I'm gonna do it. Okay, I can't help you with that. Yes, I can pray with you. Yes, we can fast. Yes, I can throw scripture around. But you need to talk to my homie. You need to talk to my sister. We need to invest in that, man, because you know, it's imperative. Another thing I think that we can do.
That's good, bro.
Yeah, another thing I think that we can do. You kind of touched on it earlier when you talked about learning to say no. I think pastors we can model that. You know, model Jesus' ministry. You know, he made time for the crowd, but he also made time to get away from them jokers too.
Yes, sir.
And the disciples, and go spend time on the mountain with the Father.
Yes, sir.
And didn't even tell people where he was going. He would just kind of dip off, right? We need to invest in keeping the Sabbath holy, right? I'm not saying that on not getting into no, you know, the command. No,
right.
I'm saying it from the standpoint of really taking rest.
Yeah, man.
Because that's important. That's important for your mental health. Taking rest. You know what I realized, bro? It's so funny. I work right now. I'm in the pharmaceutical industry, so full time. I project manager, and I run clinical trials for a pharmaceutical company that make vaccines and all that kind of stuff. Right.
Okay.
So, and I work remote. My job is 100% remote. I get off work, log off one screen, going into another screen, whether I'm doing sermon prep, whether I'm studying, right? That weighs you down. You get screen fatigue. I didn't realize how important sunlight was. Now, my doctor told me this because my doctor is a Black woman. She's from the Caribbean. She told me that many Black folk, or not just Black people, people of color, period, in the West, are vitamin D deficient.
Wow.
Because we're not getting enough sunlight. We're sun people. You need to be in the sun.
Yeah, man.
Half hour a day, go outside. So guess what I did? I had no reason to go outside a half hour every day, right? I do work out in the house. Everything I'm doing is around the house. If I ain't going to church, if I ain't going to work, whatever.
Yeah.
We got a dog. Now I'm out the house because you got to take the dog out. So now I'm out taking the dog. And bro, let me tell you something. Just taking the dog for a walk for 15, 20 minutes, half hour a day, letting him get his exercise in. It has helped me feel so much better. We got to promote this kind of stuff, man. It sounds simple, but it's little things like that. You know, turning off the TV and reading a book, you know, but those are some things that we definitely can do. But we definitely have to take this discussion of mental health a lot more. The church is behind the eight ball, but I am seeing, I'm grateful that I'm seeing the Black church begin to take this more seriously. And I think Black people need to take it more seriously as well. There have been, I know you've been paying attention to the political landscape, particularly for Black America, and there's been, you know, a huge push for reparations. And I'm all for that, you know, because that's a debt that's owed. However, I also think Black folk listen, if you want to help us for real, every Black person in America needs free mental health care, needs free for a year, because all of us is messed up some kind of way. We all got trauma.
Yeah, man.
We all got trauma.
Come on, brother.
All of us got trauma. There's not a Black person in this country that ain't got some type trauma.
Yeah. Come on, bro. Yes, sir.
And that's just my opinion. I'm not speaking as an authority there. That's just my opinion from what I see. You know. Yeah. And I too go to therapy. Pastor, in fact, I'm behind on my appointment. My brother is a therapist. My brother-in-law is a therapist. So he be reminding me like, yo, did you? So I got to make an appointment soon. And being able to be transparent enough with my congregation, I preach that from the pulpit. I go to therapy.
Yeah, man. Black
men go to therapy.
Yes, sir.
You You know, you got a dentist for your teeth. You got a doctor for your body.
Come on, bro.
You know, you got a mechanic for your car. You don't think you need somebody for your mind? Come on, man.
Bruh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In fact, somebody left a comment. Randall Anderson put, yes, sir. We go to the doctor when we are physically ill. You know, absolutely, man. That preventative maintenance.
Yes.
You know, and especially now, especially today, you know, with so much stuff, man, that we're, you know, seeing and having to digest, and the way the world has changed. And, you know, I was telling someone, actually I had wrote a paper a couple of weeks ago where I was talking about, you know, how in politics, and I have never been big into politics. I mean, I know who the president is. I know who the mayor is in the city I'm at, and the governor and different things like that. But I've never dove heavily into it until when Obama ran. I was like, yeah, you know, I'm glad black dude in there. Yes, you know, that's history. But man, when Trump ran, and I started hearing and seeing more things. And one of the things that I remember a lady did a story on how the discourse in politics has changed. And she actually went in history and showed how, you know, presidents, how the civility of it has just digressed more and more and more and more. And then she's like, so now we have a Trump who just goes crazy and says all kinds of dumb stuff. And you know, I know somebody will probably get mad that I said that, but it's dumb. You know, the way he incites things and just, and so I was sharing with someone recently about how that stuff wears on you. You know, it wears on you. And we have to get well, man. And especially black folk, we have to get well. Bro, I thought that was dope. Every black person in America get free counseling for a year, man. Listen, I mean, how about that, bro? That's dope.
Because listen, I was talking to my brother of mine about this, and he said we was talking about this, the same conversation about reparations and everything. And Dave Chappelle, I think it was Dave Chappelle in the Chappelle show, did a skit on the reparations, and it was kind of like a parody. Well, what would happen if black folk did get reparations? You jokers buying rims, you know, all kinds of stuff. And what that skit was showing was that we are sick. So if I give a sick man whose mind ain't right a check for $5 million, he's going to destroy himself.
Yeah.
Destroy himself in less than a year.
Yes,
because that's not a whole lot of money. So giving somebody a check and all right, that's well and good, but if this ain't right,
come on, brother.
If this ain't right, that money can make things worse. Don't believe me. Look at now, you from the hood like I am. What has sociologists always said why the hood is so dangerous? Economic castration, a lack of jobs, and miseducation. Right? I believe it was Umar Johnson who said that's the mother and father of violence, economic castration and miseducation. And I agree with that, right?
Yeah.
If you got money, if you don't educate them properly, and there's a bunch of drugs and guns on the street, what you think they're going to do? They're going to destroy themselves.
That's right.
Now, however, what happened during the pandemic? Everybody got money.
Right.
And guess what? Crime went up. I mean, it skyrocketed in every major city, not just Philly, Chicago, New York.
Yeah.
Everywhere. It's on fire. And the hood is still on fire. Violent crime is 20%. Yeah. And our urban centers, I think, don't quote me on that figure. So don't tell me it's just throwing money at the problem. It's deeper than that, because dudes had a whole lot of money with this PUA, this pandemic bread, the PPP and all that. They was getting plenty of money. Right. And they was buck wilding.
Right.
So that ain't it.
That ain't it, bro.
That ain't it.
Say that, man.
Yeah.
A lot of work to be done, man.
A whole lot.
A lot of work, man. Well, look, what we're gonna do at this time, man, is we try to stay at an hour. And so at this time, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a moment of inspiration where we show a little video. And then we're gonna come back, man, for we do this little closing segment titled 5 Questions, where we're gonna throw some questions at you and just have you to answer them. They real simple stuff, man. You know, kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
So look, y'all, if you're watching, stay tuned with us. We got in celebration of Black History Month, we have a video that we want you to check out titled "Amazing Grace." It is a PowerPoint presentation set against the backdrop of the Boys Choir of Harlem's rendition of Amazing Grace. So check that out. We'll be back with you in a moment. All right. Amazing Grace. Thank God for it. Hope you enjoyed that video on this Black History Month. We're sitting here with Pastor Khalil Rogers from Philadelphia, PA. We just got through having a great conversation. We're getting ready to close out the conversation, and we have our 5 quick questions that we ask all of our hosts at the end of the show. Just kind of lighthearted things. Hope you'll enjoy them. Just kind of to make everybody laugh and have a good time. And, as we get ready to leave. And so, Pastor Khalil, man, these just 5 quick questions, man. We want to hear your thoughts on them. Let us know what your favorite meal is.
My favorite meal, man, I just love food, brother. Good food. If I had to pick one thing, I'm a steak and potatoes type dude. Surf and turf. You give me that, I could probably eat that pretty much every day. Some lamb chops with a lobster tail. You know what I mean?
Oh, bruh.
Or some good soul food. But I just love food, brother.
No doubt. And you know what? Are you a cook, man, or something? Because I know a couple times I saw you throw up on your page some meals. You'll be like, tonight's meal.
Yeah, I can dab a little bit. I'm all right. My wife, she the one that got the real skills. But yeah, I actually used to work in a restaurant.
Okay.
I used to manage a restaurant, was a line cook and everything. So I can,
wow.
I think every dude in the hood can cook a little bit. You know what I mean? Look, you had to survive. You know how to make a sandwich. We know how to do it a little bit.
Yeah. Look, that bologna special, that fried bologna sandwich special.
Man, listen here, with the government cheese. Listen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, no doubt. I've watched your Facebook page, and I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm still gonna throw it out there. Your favorite sports team?
Oh, come on, man. Philly all day. Eagles, you know what I mean? Football, Eagles, basketball, Sixers, baseball, Phillies. I ain't a big hockey fan, but if I'm rooting for a hockey team, it's the Flyers. You know what I mean?
No doubt. Look, why y'all got Ben scared to come hoop, man?
Man, listen, Ben ain't built for Philly, man. It's funny because my company is an Australian-based company, so I was talking to an Australian lawyer about that. He was like, he ain't gonna last in Philly. They coming from Australia, he ain't got the tip, man.
Yeah. No doubt. Other than the Bible, what is your favorite book?
Oh man, autobiography of Malcolm X.
Okay, no doubt. What makes that book so special to you?
Man, just Malcolm's story. Obviously, we have different faith systems, but just his upbringing, his story, how the brother was just, he stood on his square, man. I can respect any man that stands on principles and tries to do everything he can in his power to stand for righteousness.
Yeah.
And stand for the liberation of his people and gave his life for it, So I would definitely say autobiography of Malcolm X. Another one is Carter G. Woodson. Losing my train of thought here. Miseducation of the Negro. Anything by Dr. James Cone. But those are like my top ones. Yeah.
No doubt. God of the Oppressed.
Man, listen. That thing revolutionary.
Woo. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If you could speak with anyone in history or living today, who would it be and why?
Anybody in history?
It doesn't have to be in history. It could be somebody dead or someone alive today. Who would it be? Who would it be and why?
Oh man, it's quite a few cats that I can mention here, but Malcolm would definitely be one of them for the reasons that I just mentioned. A dude who grew up in church, also played the streets.
Yeah.
Out of in prison, came out and just grinded for the cause, right? Dr. King, one of my favorites. I would have to put him up there. There are a few others. Nelson Mandela, it would definitely be up there. And Harriet Tubman. I gotta and listen, all of these people I'm naming are for obvious reasons, right?
Sure.
I love people, but I have a special love for my people, for my tribe, and I don't apologize for that.
Amen.
Upset, offended, It is what it is. I love Black people.
Yes, sir.
I love Black people who love Black people who have
gave
their life for the liberation of their people. So those are the people that I would definitely choose.
No question, man.
Salute. My top 3 or 4.
No doubt. Salute to that, brother. And the last question is, what is the furthest land to where you've traveled, that you visited?
Probably well, it's going to be this summer. We'll be going to Europe, but furthest place I've been, somewhere in the Caribbean. I haven't been outside the West yet, but or outside of this continent. But yeah, I did have the ability as a kid to do traveling back and forth from the West Coast back here, spend summers out there, going to Seattle and St. Louis and everything. But I didn't go out the country, man, until I got married. My wife's a military brat, so she'd been all over the world. She'd have lived in Turkey and everything. So but we're taking the family twice to Europe this summer, God willing. So I'll be able to go to Italy and Germany and France and all these different places. So looking forward to it. I got to get to Africa eventually.
I know, brother. Yeah. I know you as a military, as a veteran. I've been all over the world, man, but never got to Africa, bro. But I will. Yeah. Like you said, man, get to the motherland, brother.
Sure.
Well, listen, Pastor Rogers, man, Pastor Khalil Rogers, thank you so much, man, for being on the Black So Well podcast. Man, it was a blessing, man. Your energy, dog, your knowledge, just everything you shared. Thank you so much, man. Hey, look, if you're watching, before we get out of here, I want to share with you a few resources that you can tap into right now if you are struggling. The first one is the Black Mental Health Alliance. We're going to have these up on the screen for you. The Black Mental Health Alliance is blackmentalhealth.com. Also, the National Alliance on Mental Health, NAMI.org. You can go there. It's a website filled with resources. Also, the National Suicide Hotline. It's suicidepreventionlifeline.org. The phone number is 800-273-8255. That's 24/7. The Association of Black Psychologists in Maryland, area code 301-449-3082. If you're having anxiety and depression, the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, that number is 240-485-1001. And last but not least, I got to give a shout out to all of my vets. If you are a veteran and you're struggling with suicidal tendencies or homelessness and pain and etc., literal pain in your body, you can get help. Dial the Veterans Crisis Line. That number is 800-273-8255, and the website is veteranscrisisline.net. Hey, look, I want to thank all of you for checking out the Black So Well podcast. I want to encourage you to like and follow our page. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, share that link with somebody. If you're on Facebook, make sure you hit the share button. We appreciate you. We will see you in 2 weeks for our next episode. Grace and peace. Pastor Khalil, thank you for being with us again, brother.
Man, all love, bro. Thanks for having me. And thanks everybody for having me. I really appreciate it, man.
No doubt.